This is a kind message directed to all my shy vegans out there. Um, you have no need to apologize for your moral inclinations. You have no need, no obligation to make those who participate in the worst cause of bloodshed to have ever graced humanity's fingertips. You have no need to make them feel at ease with what they're doing. I have been not eating animals or their secretions for about 1.5 years now, but I've only been vegan for about a year, since last December. And the reason why I mark a difference, and the reason why so many vegans are so adamant about veganism being a strict term that includes people of a certain specific moral stance, is because it's literally vegan or bust. You are either against the exploitation of animals or you're for it. You either believe it's wrong to exploit animals for your own uses, or you're supporting it. Now, when I went plant-based a year and a half ago, it was largely due to my health. I have very bad eczema. Back when I was eating the flesh of dead animals, it started to kill my own flesh. It was the worst my skin had ever been. And up until the point before I went plant-based and stopped eating animals and their secretions, I had been trying for about 5 years. 5 years. 5 years is when I first heard about the idea of subsisting off of plants alone to better your health. And this video isn't an argument about whether or not you can be healthy with animals in your diet, because we've seen people do it. Of course you can be healthy. You're not going to necessarily just drop dead. And just because, like, if you eat chicken once a year, you're probably not going to end up with heart disease. You're probably not going to end up with cancer like everyone else who eats chicken every day. But that's why veganism is so different from being plant-based. So, because it doesn't allow any room for animal exploitation, it's never healthy to exploit animals. So, about 5 years ago is when I first heard of that idea of eating plants only for your health. And I saw carnism, I saw eating animals as normal. It is the default diet that everyone just does. To be vegan or to be vegetarian, if that can even be equated with veganism, and it can't. To be vegan or vegetarian or pescatarian or lacto-ovo vegetarian, those are all offshoots. Those are all they're all what's the word? My mind just escaped me. Alternatives. There we go. Alternatives. Those are all alternatives to the default carnistic diet. And I even felt that way for the first half year that I was 100% plant-based. I felt that way all the way up to that point because I still hadn't made the connection, even though I wasn't eating the animals, and even though I was saying, oh yeah, I'm vegan for the animals too, even though it's also for my health because of my skin condition. But I'm also vegan for the animals because I'm an animal lover. So naturally, if I'm not eating animals, I'm also going to attribute that to being an animal lover, right? Here's what I need to say. It took me 5 years, 5.5, if you want to count the period of time where I wasn't eating animals, but I still had a carnist mindset. It took me 5 years to get my act together. It took me 5 years to put myself in the position of animals that are locked up in crates, surrounded by sickness and filth, never shown love, brought into this world to be a commodity. And you cannot tell me that if something is your commodity, you love it, but you're going to kill it at the end of the day. I love my dogs to bits and pieces. And I would never even dream of killing them unless they were seriously suffering and there was nothing I could do for them. Then I'll take my dog to the vet and get it euthanized. But I didn't breed my dog into existence. I didn't pay someone to breed my dogs into existence just for the sake of me having them as a piece of walking furniture in my house. And these dogs aren't even really mine because I'm so allergic to them that I really keep my distance. My family more watches after them. I'm kind of there on the sidelines, like wishing I could be a part of it, but I can't because I am so freaking allergic to mammals. It's the bane of my existence. But yeah, it took me 5.5 years, and then when I was in middle school, it was over a decade ago now. Over a decade ago, I had first heard of vegetarianism, but still, I just saw it as a alternative to our normal diet of eating meat. I had to force myself into a vegan culture in order to understand that eating meat is an option, that we're already subsisting off of plants and we're just choosing to add animals on top of the diet that's already sustaining us. And some of us are leaning too heavy on the animals and it's wrecking our health. Heart disease is the number one killer. Yeah, we've heard it 1,000 times now. Plants are the foundation to a human's diet. Even if you want to argue that we're omnivores, okay, but we can't subsist off of animals alone for our entire lives. We can do that with plants. Look, eat animals alone, no kind of um, vitamin C added to these animals, no spices, no nothing, like nothing but animals. It's not going to work. With plants, yeah, there are some missing nutrients such as B12, but that's not made from animals. We don't get B12 from animals. Animals are the middle animal, and we eat their bodies to obtain our B12, and yet we're still deficient in B12 as a society. So why not just cut out the middle animal and eat it yourself? Why not cut out the unnecessary violence and just take a B12 supplement? You'll be more likely to have B12 in your system if you do. I've been taking some delicious vegetarian B12 supplements every day lately, and it's no problem to me. No animal had to die. Anyway, my point is that it took so long for me to go vegan. It took so long for me to wake up to the madness that lays on our grocery store shelves. And a lot of vegan apologists and shy vegans, I'm not saying that every vegan has to go cover themselves in red paint and march through grocery stores and butcher shops and restaurants. I'm not saying that. But every vegan, every true vegan, has a responsibility to not back down due to societal pressure. You don't have to march in the streets and stand in a cube of truth. If you're eating dinner with your family and the topic comes up, don't try to assuage their guilt for what they're doing. Because honestly, who feels guilty in those conversations? Is it the vegan who's not taking part in animal violence? Or is it the meat eaters who feel the need to justify their actions? The vegans don't feel the need to justify their actions. All the vegans are doing are pointing out what the meat eaters are doing. And they're the ones justifying it. Don't back down in those situations. Whenever the opportunity comes up, and it will come up, if you go out to eat with a group of people and you're the only person there, having to ask the waiter 10 questions, like making sure it doesn't have cruelty in the food, it's going to come up. And when it comes up, don't be apologetic. Don't apologize for your morals. Don't apologize for doing what's right. And don't make meat eaters feel good. I'm not saying you have to shame them, but don't sit there and be like a carnist ally. Oh yeah, it's your personal choice. No, it's not their personal choice. It's not their personal choice because they're bringing billions of other animals into their choice. When you go to McDonald's and order a burger, that's not one cow that made the patty. That's several cows mashed up into one patty. That's how it is with cheap meat. A hot dog isn't made up of one animal. It's several animals and different parts of their body mashed up into a hot dog. Don't apologize. Don't make excuses for carnists. Oh, I can never give up meat. It's just so good. Don't make excuses. Don't say if a carnist is like, I can never give up meat. It's too good. It's my family has like this one dish that we love to make for every holiday and it's just so traditional to our family. Don't sit there and be like, "Oh yeah, I understand. Yeah, I get that. I used to be like you too." No, don't say that. What you should say, something more along the lines of, "Yeah, I know. I used to be there too. But then one day I woke up and I realized that there's no need to unjustifiably take a life for taste pleasure or for tradition or for your health when you don't need animals for your health. You can be perfectly healthy on a plant-based diet. Everyone can. Don't make excuses." And these people getting mad at militant vegans, I used to be one of the quote unquote vegans. Well, actually, I'll say this. Yeah, I was a vegan. I had the vegan mindset. I was a vegan feeling weird looking at other vegans covering themselves in paint and going into grocery stores. But then one day it clicked and I just got angry about what I see on grocery store shelves. I see nothing but chopped up bodies, y'all. Chopped up bodies. Lines wrapped around McDonald's. And these people aren't there ordering the vegan apple pie. I live in America. We don't have the vegan chicken sandwich that I hear they're coming out with, probably in the UK. We don't have those things here. Even at Burger King where they got the Impossible Whopper, most of these people wrapped around the Burger Kings are not there for the Impossible Whopper. They're there to order a 5 to 10 minute meal of animal suffering. And they don't need to make these animals suffer. I am the kind of person who needed a vegan to scream in my face. That's what I needed. I didn't need someone being nice to me. I once upon a time I was turned off those YouTubers such as Vegan Gains. They seem so extreme. But now I get it. And it resonates with me. That anger resonates with me. It is okay to be angry. If these grocery shelves were lined with chopped up human parts, we'd all feel the right to be angry. Why does that change when it's an animal? I'm angry when I go to the grocery store. I am angry at injustice. And you should be too. You have every right to. You don't have to suppress these negative emotions that we feel as vegans when we see these things. Because suppressing negative emotions is what allowed us to be carnists in the first place. Most carnists cannot watch where their food comes from. Most carnists cannot create their animal-based foods themselves. They have to pay someone else to do it. Because most of us do not have the emotional, mental, or spiritual capacity to do what slaughterhouse workers have to do. And this is why the slaughterhouse workers suffer from PTSD. Just standing in blood all day. This isn't a new thing. Some of the poorest working conditions in the free world. It's not right. You have every right to be angry. You have every right to feel like you need to say something about this injustice, this blatant injustice that everyone is just okay with. My whole family is okay with the slaughter and abuse and exploitation of trillions of animals. My family, these people I love, and that hurts. That hurts. Especially when I see my family members holding themselves to such high moral standards in every other aspect of life, except when it comes to how we treat the least of these. That hurts. You do not have to apologize for the way you feel. You need to say something. If you're a vegan, you don't just abstain from exploiting animals. You speak up for them too. When you have a chance, when the opening in the conversation comes, you say something. You don't have to be quote unquote pushy. Just ask them. Ask them questions as to why they're doing what they're doing. And ask them how they can justify doing what they're doing. You don't have to force your beliefs down everyone's throats. You don't have to force your belief down the throats of people who are forcing dead animal carcass down their own throats. It's okay to say something. You don't have to apologize.